Hi, I'm Roger Travis, and this is Classics in Ancient Mediterranean Studies 1103 coming to you from UConn. One thing that may occur to you as you watch these lectures is, am I wearing any pants? I can assure you that I am.
The modern parallel I want to bring in for Odysseus and Demodocus's relationship around storytelling and heroic glory is a sequence from Sir David Lean's classic Lawrence of Arabia. What we're going to see here is what I think is a highly analogous relationship between Lawrence, that is T.E. Lawrence, Lawrence of Arabia, who made a legend of himself by leading the Arabs to victory over the Turks in the First World War, and the American journalist from Chicago who made him famous. So as you watch, think about the parallelism between this relationship of Lawrence and the journalist with the relationship of Odysseus and Demodocus.
What do these bags belong to?
To Prince Faisal.
You're not Prince Faisal by any chance?
No.
You know him,
He is my master. I am his servant.
Can you read? Oh, sure. Thank you, sir. Do you think you'd be able to manage the letter?
I'll do everything I have said, Mr. Bentley, if you will tell me truly the nature of your interest in my people and their belongings.
It's very simple, sir. I'm looking for a hero.
Indeed. You do not seem a romantic man.
Oh, no. But certain influential men back home believe that the time has come for America to lend her weight to the patriotic struggle against Germany and Turkey. Now, I've been sent to find material which will show our people that this war is enjoyable. Hardly that, sir. But to show them its more adventurous aspects.
You are looking for a figure who will draw your country towards war.
All right? Yes.
Ardens is your man.
Notice how Lawrence's need for glory and for show causes the problem here. There's something very similar in the way Odysseus is set up. As you know, it's really his fault in a certain sense that he has such trouble getting home. Throughout the course, we'll be paying attention to the way that heroes tend to provoke disaster for themselves by being too heroic, even by showing too greatly their abilities to acquire glory and honor.
Never seen a man killed with a sword before. Why don't you take a picture? Wish they had.
How is it with the honors?
Oh! Am I in this? Huh? Did you take his picture? Yeah. You are using up your 9 lives very quickly.
Notice the contrast between the great warrior
Alden?
and the hero Lawrence.
Good old fashioned. He thinks These things will steal his virtue. He thinks you're a kind of thief. Sorry if I take your picture? All right. Okay. Just walk.
Auda is concerned with victory. Lawrence is concerned with something else. And notice the way that Lawrence responds to the journalist's request just to walk. That is this just walking? And notice how Sir David Lean, the director, goes along with the journalist in making Lawrence into a hero.
Both Bentley and Lawrence are looking for kleos. They're looking for glory that is going to add to their reputations and make other people notice them. The same is true, as I was saying, of Odysseus and Demodocus. They're both looking to add to their sum total of kleos. Now, the thing that I think is most interesting about the parallel here is, first of all, in the outer level, that is, the level of Sir David Lean, the director of Lawrence of Arabia, and the level of the Homeric bards in the Odyssey, because they are clearly conscious of what they're doing with the kleos bargain that's on the inside of the story. On the one hand, that just means that Lean and the bard of Book 8 want the audience to pay attention to what a good job they're doing, that is, Lean and the bard, in showing these amazing heroes and the way that they use a bard or a journalist to get their glory going even farther than it would have otherwise. On the other hand, though, both Sir David Lean and the bard of Book 8 are also using the frame, their own retelling of this story about a guy who knows that he's having a story told about him and wants to use the fact that he's having a story told about him to point out something special about these heroes, Odysseus and Lawrence of Arabia. To put it simply, it's just that these heroes are the kinds of heroes who are in control of their own stories, and in fact, and here's the real point, want to manipulate those stories to get things that they're after. In the case of Lawrence, it seems like this is just in order to maintain a particular vision of himself, which is a little weird and suited to the time 1962. For Odysseus, on the other hand, it has to do with some very specific things about what's going on in his journey home and his interest in making that journey home successful. And as we go on to talk about what Odysseus is going to do when he starts to tell his own story at the beginning of Book 9, the way that he's controlled the opening of that story by means of this bargain with Demodocus is going to be of crucial importance. And you can actually already see that at the end of Book 8, because, of course, when Odysseus asks Demodocus to sing this story about the Trojan horse, and Demodocus complies and the story is really great, well, everybody else, all of the Phaeacians, are having a great time enjoying the story, but Odysseus is weeping copiously, and pretending to try to hide it. Now, I say pretending because it's pretty obvious that when Alcinous asks Odysseus who he is and says, you absolutely have to tell us because we just can't ignore the fact that you're crying anymore, Odysseus is more than willing to start telling his story, and he uses that as the springboard to tell the most amazing story ever told, a story which puts Demodocus' story to shame in a certain way. And that's what we're going to be talking about as we move onward into Odysseus' adventures and what they mean from a mythic point of view.